My dear friends, my name is Dr. Jaton Kumar Rai Choudhury and today's topic of discussion is recurrent pregnancy loss. I am highly indebted to the following textbooks, mostly Berek and Novak's Gynecology, others are Williams Gynecology, Clinical Gynecologic Endocrinology and Infertility, ACOG and RCOG journals. Immunological factors. Implantation and pregnancy continuation is dependent on a delicate balance between maternal and embryo-fetal immune, hormonal and coagulation system. Embryo contains paternal antigen which may be rejected by mother. Again, some form of immunological dysfunction may be inherently present in the maternal system, hostile for maintenance of pregnancy. Now, different immunological tests for diagnosis of recurrent pregnancy loss are under trial, but the results are inconclusive and sometimes misleading. And treatment with some form of immunosuppression also may be hazardous. Basic concept of immunology. Immunological response may be innate or acquired. The innate response is rapid, first line of defense and not antigen specific. Cell types and mechanism involve complement activation, phagocytosis by macrophage and lysis by natural killer cells and natural killer T cells. Acquired, which are antigen specific, mediated by T cells and B cells, and it is further divided into primary response associated with the initial antigen contact and secondary response which is rapid and powerful associated with subsequent contact with the same antigen. Antigen specificity is regulated by two sets of genes in the major histocompatibility complex MHC located in chromosome 6. MHC class 1 molecule which are HLA A, B and C are present on the surface of nearly every cell and protect from intracellular pathogen like viral infection and oncogenic transformation. They act as a ligand for TCR on CD8 plus cytotoxic or suppressor T cells and some NK cells. MHC class 2 molecules, that means HLA DR, DP and DQ, they are present on the surface of some limited antigen presenting cells like dendritic cells, macrophage, monocyte, B cells and Langerhans cells of the skin. They protect from extracellular pathogen like bacterial invasion and they act as a ligand for T cell receptor on CD4 plus T helper cells. Immune tolerance. It is a very important mechanism related to pregnancy maintenance. T cells produced from bone marrow, they pass through the fetal thymus and get thymic education during the early development. And during thymic education, the T cells that express CD4 or CD8 co-receptors are chosen and the other autoreactive cells are eliminated. The education allows selection of those T cells that recognize self from non-self and prevents reaction against self and thereby promote immune tolerance. Cellular immune mechanism. Changes in the cellular immune mechanism favoring implantation and pregnancy continuation affects three distinct compartments. Type of immune cells present at the site of implantation, characteristics of the antigen presentation at the materno-fetal interface, regulatory mechanism affecting the reproductive tract immune cells. Type of immune cells present at the site of implantation. Role of natural killer cells. Human endometrium is mostly populated by T cells, macrophage and natural killer like cells. Near the time of implantation, one particular cell type predominate around 70 to 80%, known by various names but mostly appear to be natural killer cell variant. These NK cells display poor cytotoxic function and act as a huge cytokine secretor, probably due to a disparity between the cell surface expression of CD56 versus CD16, playing a favorable role in implantation. However, accurate test and interpretation of NK cell activity as an investigation of recurrent pregnancy loss is difficult, limited, and questionable. Role of T regulatory cells. A subpopulation of CD4 plus T cells which express CD25 on their cell surface, also known as regulatory T lymphocyte or Treg cells, predominate at the site of implantation. When activated, they secrete some regulatory cytokines which prevent tissue destruction associated with inflammation and probably play a central role in pregnancy maintenance. Testing related to Treg cells as an investigation for RPL is also questionable, and no treatment is also recommended towards regulation of NK cells or Treg cells. Antigen presentation at the maternofetal interface. The placental trophoblast does not express MHC class II molecules, and also the universal classical MHC class I transplantation antigens HLA-A and HLA-B. This is because of the downregulation of MHC to avoid immune detection by the mother. Rather, a subpopulation of placental trophoblast, that means the extravillous cytotrophoblast, express classical MHC class I HLA-C and non-classical HLA-E, F, G products and avoids target for NK cell killing, as NK cells kill cells that express no MHC. So complete downregulation is also avoided. These cells have invasive potential into the maternal decidua and replace cells of the decidual artery and help in the placental development. Aberrant expression of class II MHC or enhanced expression of MHC class I molecules on syncytial trophoblast in response to IFN gamma could mediate pregnancy loss by enhancing the cytotoxic T cell attack. Regulatory mechanism affecting the reproductive tract immune cells. T lymphocytes expressing CD4 are also called T helper cells, and they can be further subdivided into Th1 and Th2, and the cytokines they produce are also called Th1 type cytokines and Th2 type cytokines. Th1 type cytokines tend to produce pro-inflammatory response responsible for killing intracellular parasites and lead to uncontrolled tissue damage. Th1 cytokines include IFN gamma, interleukin 2, interleukin 10 and tumor necrosis factor alpha. Th2 type cytokines include interleukin 4, 5 and 13 with anti-inflammatory response. Successful embryo implantation occurs in a Th2 dominant environment, and that poor pregnancy outcomes may result if the balance favors Th1 dominant environment. Reflection of these cytokine activity and its measurements is very difficult. TNF alpha is one cytokine that can be easily detected in blood and may be a good marker with higher level associated with recurrent pregnancy loss. Reproductive hormones and immunosuppression. Reproductive hormone like progesterone has a profound immunosuppressive effect and is responsible for the maintenance of semi-allogenic fetus. Progesterone mediated changes in the T cell gene expression have been associated with the development of Th2 type T helper cell response. Elevated level of estrogen typical of pregnancy may also be responsible for immunomodulation as well as development of Th2 type response. Tryptophan metabolism. T cells need tryptophan for activation and proliferation. Inhibition of indolamine dioxygenase, a catabolizing enzyme, or diet high in tryptophan may be an important cause of recurrent pregnancy loss. Humoral immune mechanism and antiphospholipid syndrome. Patients with recurrent pregnancy loss may show altered humoral response to the trophoblast antigens. Humoral immune response related to recurrent pregnancy loss mostly concern antiphospholipid syndrome that includes antibodies directed against the negatively charged phospholipid of the cell membrane like cardiolipin and phosphatidylserine. However, APLA usually target a protein cofactor, that is beta glycoprotein 1, which assists the antibody association with phospholipid. APLA characterize prolonged phospholipid dependent coagulation tests in vitro like APTT and thrombosis in vivo. Many complications of APLA are systemic, but some are pregnancy specific like recurrent pregnancy loss, IUGR, preeclampsia and stillbirth. Diagnosis of antiphospholipid syndrome. Antiphospholipid syndrome may occur as a primary condition or in association with other autoimmune conditions like SLE. Antiphospholipid syndrome is an autoimmune disorder associated with venous and arterial thrombosis and adverse pregnancy outcomes. The diagnosis is confirmed by the detection of one or more of three antiphospholipid antibodies: lupus anticoagulant, anti-cardiolipin antibodies, and anti-beta-2 glycoprotein 1 antibodies. Antiphospholipid syndrome should be considered in the differential diagnosis of venous and arterial thrombosis and also with any of the following adverse pregnancy outcomes: 3 or more otherwise unexplained recurrent early miscarriages defined as pre-embryonic or embryonic losses at less than 10 weeks gestation. Nearly 15% of these patients have positive APL results. 1 or more otherwise unexplained fetal death more than equal to 10 weeks of gestation, and nearly 15% of these patients have positive APL results. A history of preterm birth occurring at less than 34 weeks gestation secondary to severe preeclampsia or placental insufficiency. Studies show that nearly 8% of women with severe preeclampsia have positive APL results. As per international criteria, at least one clinical criteria and positive antiphospholipids are required for definitive diagnosis of antiphospholipid syndrome. Final diagnosis ultimately depends on positive APL. Laboratory criteria require medium to high titer and persistence. That means 2 or more positive results at least 12 weeks apart of antiphospholipids. The ACL value more than 40, IgG units GPL or IgM units MPL is considered as medium or high titer. Ig isotype are not recognized as diagnosis of APS. Lupus anticoagulant is a better predictor of pregnancy morbidity or thrombosis. High titer of IgG isotype of anti-cardiolipin antibody and anti-beta-2 glycoprotein 1 antibodies are more specific for antiphospholipid syndrome. Triple APL positivity is of greater clinical significance than double or single. Cause of recurrent pregnancy loss. Antiphospholipid antibodies increase thromboxane and decrease prostacyclin within the placental vessels, which promotes vascular constriction, platelet adhesion, and placental infarction. IgM acts against phosphatidylserine and inhibits syncytial formation. There is rapid development of atherosclerosis in spiral arteries resulting in blockage, whereas there is reduced annexin 5 or the placental antithrombotic molecule. Other than antiphospholipid antibody, one additional autoantibody responsible for recurrent pregnancy loss is antithyroid antibodies, even when the thyroid hormone level is within normal limit. Other probable causes may be anti-sperm antibody, anti-trophoblast antibody, and blocking antibody deficiency. Male factor. The only evidence-based recommended test for a male partner in a couple with a recurrent pregnancy loss is peripheral blood karyotype. In couples suffering from recurrent pregnancy loss, the other associated findings in male partner are Y chromosome microdeletion, sperm chromosome aneuploidy, poor sperm function test like hypoosmotic swelling test, acrosome status, nuclear chromatin condensation, and increased DNA fragmentation. Some role of reactive oxygen species has been speculated with some improvement with antioxidant therapy in cases with sperm DNA damage or semen lipid peroxidation. Hyperhomocystinemia due to paternal methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase mutation may also lead to ROS generation. Other factors. Implantation of the blastocyst on decidua is dependent on the crosstalk between the embryo and mother, which regulates some time-bound important factors. Any dysregulation may lead to defective implantation and placentation, leading to recurrent pregnancy loss. Dysregulation in vascular endothelial growth factor expression and receptor, dysregulation in integrin expression, dysregulation of apoptotic pathway because programmed cell death is important for normal placental development. Environmental factors. Exposure to medications and toxins may lead to sporadic as well as recurrent pregnancy loss. That includes antiprogestogens, antineoplastic agents, inhalation anesthetics, anti-inflammatory agents, ionizing radiation, organic solvents, environmental toxins like phthalates, bisphenol A, and heavy metals. Exposure to electrical power lines, microwave, stress, mild to moderate exercise, coitus, except in cervical incompetence, etc., do not appear to increase risk. Substance abuse like alcohol, cigarette, marijuana, caffeine, and caffeinated beverages, etc., in first trimester may be responsible in some cases. Thank you for your patient watching. If you like the video, please subscribe. Namaste.